unbeatable. We'll train until we meet our goal. The stakes are high, no we won't fold, because we are unbeatable. We are unbeatable. We'll train until we meet our goal. If stakes are high, no we won't fold, because we are unbeatable.
Oh, hey, wait, is it your turn to go to our store and get some treasure, also known as merch? Because we have a store down below. Go check it out. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the world of Pokemon.
And thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Unbeatable.
I can't do the face thing you do, bro. Okay, there you go.
You
were talking,
like,
so normally you're the one who does it.
I can't.
So I had to try and fill the gap, but I couldn't.
In the future, you gotta hit him with a "Welcome to the world" and just do it while you're doing the call-in.
I went.
Do it silent, and I'll just put the words over the text. I'll put text over your face. Just quietly.
It's just silent.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, getting into today's episode of Unbeatable. Hello, my lovely players. As we begin today's episode, we're going to be beginning once again in Saffron City, the largest city in the Kanto region. As you guys have spent about a day and change here, training at the local karate dojo, introducing yourself to Johto National and former E4 member Karin, learning things about your upcoming psychic type gym battle. And as we begin today, we are beginning in the morning of April 16th. That is a Saturday. Tomorrow morning, we are now 24 hours. If this was Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, it would be like the 1 day left until Seth Wake's
1 day more
gym battle.
Sick.
As it is until his Saffron gym battle. So, beginning today, you all wake up, you go through the same sort of, I assume, processes that you went through yesterday of getting up, going and getting breakfast, stretching, doing all of those things. I assume waffles are made. I assume there's hijinks with Pokemon. Basically just copy and paste the beginning of last episode into right here. That's what happens.
Short form.
So was today, did you say today was Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday, and Sunday is Seth's gym battle. With that, we are going to be beginning the day. Is there any early morning things that you guys wanted to get done before you go and train with Karin at the karate dojo?
I would like to, yes, I am going to go to the nearest transfer station.
Oh, okay, there's one of those in the Pokemon Center. And are you going to be texting the Oak Lab to get some Pokemon swapped in and out?
I am. So I'm going to go ahead and text Poppy. I'm going to say, hey girl, hey. I'm about to take that Spiritomb back from you. Get ready for a really cute little Roselia. You won't have him for super long, but I'm gonna trade him out. I gotta figure out what to do with that Spiritomb.
Ooh. Let me roll for something. Okay.
What? Why do you gotta roll for
First
something?
thing in the morning on
I have an
Saturday.
extra slot in my party. Just trade him to me. He can hang out with me for the day. Don't send them all the way back.
Poppy reacts mildly positively to this, even though it's first thing in the morning on a Saturday. With that, you get the text and she just goes, "Oh, well, at least you're finally taking care of that."
I send her like a skull emoji, like I'm so dead, and an eye roll, and then like the smirk to the side, like yeah.
Yeah. The process is near instantaneous. Of you go ahead and you take Thornton's ball, sit it on a little pedestal, and there's a little of electricity, and he's gone. And then a half second later, another Pokeball appears in its spot. One that is significantly more
hissing
scuffed.
with evil energy.
Hissing. There's just like black smoke billowing now. It's
Very
just
Spiritomb's like, hey girl, hey.
I do.
See more.
I think when I see the Pokeball like come into the transfer station, I go to grab it and I hesitate for like a split second, and then I go ahead and I grab it and I.
Ooh, go ahead and roll me a fortitude check.
Briefly see the Eye of Sauron.
Fortitude, okay.
This thing feeds off your fucking anger, Kenna.
Yeah, and fear, and
fortitude?
Everything else.
I meant fear.
Well, fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate.
Hate leads to suffering. 7 plus my badges. 7 plus 4 is 12.
12? Okay. Wait, 7 plus 4 is 11.
That's 11.
Yeah, I was like,
Sure
wait.
is.
I was doing that thing where I was paying attention to like 2 other things and then the math caught up with my brain. Yeah, okay.
How's that int
I
die?
was just trying to math.
Oh, dude. Within 11. Interesting. As you go and you like pick up the ball, first of all, unlike every other Pokeball you own, it is cold to the touch. It's actually a really concerning feeling to have because basically every other Pokemon has been relatively warm and comforting. This one is cold to the touch and it feels heavy. It's one of those things where as you pick up the ball, it's like, it's not affecting you negatively yet, but there is a weight, both physical and metaphysical, to this ball that you just cannot place. And it's one of those things where you do have to flex just a little bit to keep it up.
I feel like it, like when I hold it, like, you know, that chill that runs down your body. I feel like that happens and I gotta like flex it off and then like just stick it in my back and be like, whew. Okay. I gotta get my mind right for this shit.
Okay.
The dark saber, it'll get lighter when you're worthy of it.
Hey, you're so right though.
I know all about those things.
Just imagine, I don't know why my brain just flashed to like small Matt in like a baby Yoda costume with a Mandalorian helmet on. That's all I meant. I don't know why it's what I imagined.
That'd be so cute.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But in reality,
get on it.
it's Blue's Clues, so get it right.
Did anyone else have anything they wanted to do before heading to the dojo?
I think I'm gonna go for a little morning fly with Ava.
Yeah, that makes
Give her
sense.
a chance to stretch her wings. I know it's stormy out, but we're gonna do some resistance training, like flying into the wind.
It is stormy out. Can you roll me D100 real quick?
You bet to have a How to Train Your Dragon moment.
20.
20 on the D100. Okay. With that, you go ahead and leave early as Coryne heads to the transfer room, everybody else heading to breakfast. You step out with Ava, and it is one of those things where like it is a light amount of rain, but you can deal with it. It's fine. You get onto the back of your Pokemon partner and take off, and it's immediately one of those things where every one of those little droplets of rain immediately becomes a little bullet that just across your face because your
goggles, mask,
everything up. And it's one of those things at high velocity. You can mostly ignore the feeling of rain going down. And there are moments where Ava will ascend, hold in the air for a moment, and then begin to descend. And at that moment, it feels like it's not raining at all because you're basically matching the speed of rain at that. And you take the morning, do a couple of flybys. You see 1 or 2 other flying Pokemon and their trainers, mostly couriers. Can you roll me a we'll call it a tracking check. With a disadvantage, with a D4 minus, because it is hella stormy. Actually, you called out you were wearing goggles. I won't give you the disadvantage.
Oh,
Did you borrow mine?
DJ wakes up. Where the fuck
I
are
did.
my goggles?
I did mention that I had like ski sunglasses on when I arrived.
That's true. That's true. That did happen.
That's 11 plus my badges is 15 plus 1 is 16 total.
You said a 16. With a 16 at this moment, as you're sort of like, doing your little laps around the city, you note that it's basically, like I said, just couriers coming into the city at this point in time. People transporting stuff that like either can't be successfully transported through transport rooms. I say the word transport a lot. Successfully moved through teleportation rooms. And you see that as you're kind of like going by, you do note a flash of sort of like orange red atop one of the flying Pokemon that goes by. You spent weeks with these people. The first thing you note is that a ranger goes by. And rather than looking like urgent, it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, you need to tail the ranger and figure out what they're doing. It's more as the ranger goes by, you see that they are doing patrols of the sky, which is something that happens kind of regularly, not super. And then it's another like 4 or 5 minutes, you see a different one. And then it's like, you start to realize, oh, as you see your 3rd and 4th ones, the skies above cities right now are hella patrolled at the moment. Like they're keeping out of the way, they're not bothering you. And for the most part, they're not super visible because they're higher than most other trainers are gonna go at this moment. But you are getting the feeling that like the Rangers are acting in these like recent days, and there is a feeling of like defense that is going on with the Rangers at the moment. Normally this would be like an ace trainer sort of vibe. So it's interesting to see that the Rangers are being pulled in to protect the cities at this point, which there's a lot of different things that you can pull from that, and I'm going to let you interpret that information however you want. But it's notable that these are rangers and not ace trainers that are patrolling the cities. Regardless, the rest of your flight goes pretty well.
Can I shoot Anton and Harper a text?
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
Whoa.
What's the text? What do you shoot them?
Just letting them know I'm in. Where the fuck are we? What is this place called?
Saffron City. Saffron City. It's a lot of proper nouns in this campaign.
Gavin's text message. I'm flying and I don't know where I am. Help me.
Can you send me a GPS app?
The text I'm gonna send him is I'm gonna let them know I'm in Saffron City. I'm just noticing some ranger buzz. Is there anything I should be aware of, on the lookout for? Watch out to not get involved in.
Ooh.
Totally winky face.
Anton, can you go ahead and word for me how you would tell Gavin that basically the Rangers cannot patrol the wilds right now because they're too fucking crazy, and the ace trainers seem busy with other things to the point where they're getting pulled in with more patrols?
Anton would say, that is a no-go, amigo. Can't do that.
Anton's just not going to tell me, okay. Does Harper tell me anything?
I feel like Harper immediately goes, yeah, amigo, on the need to know. In real life, Harper turns to Anton, they high five, and then Harper follows it up with the actual information that you need.
Okay, cool.
Anton's like, that's going to kill. He's going to love that.
That's incredible.
Cool.
Shout out to one-shot characters.
It's not they're not on the lookout for anything. Cool.
That's
Alrighty.
fun.
I'll head to the dojo then.
Okay.
Did I get any friendship or anything with Ava for this?
Man's is arguing for friendship.
I'm not arguing, I'm just asking.
Requesting even. Asking permission.
Are you going to approach the bench again? Because that worked so well for you last time.
That's going to be a no-go for now. But if you keep asking one of these,
That's
That's
a
a
no-go,
no-go, amigo.
The no-go,
that's a
amigo.
no-go for now.
So funny.
But in the future, keep asking. Okay, that is Coryne taken care of, Birdie taken, or Gavin taken care of. Seth, DJ, there was nothing you wanted before you head to the dojo for the day?
No.
Okay, sounds good. So, all four of you go ahead.
And I'm all Seth.
You're all Seth, baby.
And Anton, apparently?
Oh yeah, you're not all Seth. You're also partial Anton.
Okay, let's just move to the next scene.
He's so mad when his bits get flipped on him. Okay, so the four of you head to the dojo. With heading to the dojo, today is a rainy day, so most people are not training outsides in the gardens, which means it is a little bit more packed in the interior areas. But as you guys arrive, there is immediately sort of a dojo trainee who walks up to you guys and goes, you're the four who were here yesterday. I believe you had a special training room booked for the day?
What?
The person who got here before you booked a room, and I was told to come fetch you guys when you got here.
Great.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
It's gonna be just this way.
Okay.
Sorry, you do have to go back out in the rain a little bit. I apologize for that. And you see, he immediately turns, and there's a large, wide, one of those paper, double screen doors. Sort of slides it open, and the first thing you see is this beautiful stone garden, directly out in this middle courtyard that's between a bunch of other buildings that are somehow, again, all nestled in the giant urban area that is Saffron. You see trees sort of rimming the entire garden with little buildings underneath them, and that sort of obscures the skyscrapers on the other sides of it. It's interesting that this is hidden to where 30 yards that way, there's a busy metropolis. But here, it feels like a traditional rural sort of dojo. But headed through the rock garden, you are taken to one of the larger buildings in the back, where Karin is sitting, her leg crossed over one other leg on the steps of one of the larger buildings. She's just sort of sitting, enjoying listening to the rain. Her eyes are closed as you approach. Her Umbreon is curled up and continues to stay relaxed, but you do notice its eyes following you as you approach.
I feel like she's going to sense us as we walk up, and we get a couple more feet further. She's going to be like, oh, I knew you'd be here. Something cool like that. I just bet.
I mean,
I've been
or just
expecting
say
you.
hello and
Maybe.
good morning.
I don't know. Wouldn't it be cool, though?
Are we? Okay.
No.
DJ, no.
I feel like she's done this enough with people walking into a room that she's kind of sitting in for hours
That'd be
because
creepy
she's
as
an elite
hell.
floor member. Okay, whatever.
That we just
Right,
walk
but
up
she's
and go
looking
through.
at the door that way. She's not.
Her eyes are closed.
Oh my god.
We've made too much noise now. She knows we're here.
Good morning, Karin.
Oh, I've been expecting you.
Oh my god.
Called it.
Of course she's been expecting us because we told her we were gonna be.
Also,
What's
the
the
rock
rumor?
garden
DJ's
echoes, and I
like-
heard everything you guys said on the way over here.
Right.
Yeah.
Tied up.
Ridiculous.
How's your morning going?
A little late start, but it's going. I'm ready to train some trainers, though.
Sweet.
Great. Well,
Hell
we just
yeah.
happen
Who
to
trains
be
the trainers?
I don't know. Some of you have 4 badges. I'm kidding. I know that you're holding off. That's fine. I was making a joke. Okay, well,
Okay.
if we're gonna get trained for the day, I obviously can't teach all 4 of you at the same time all at once, so I'm gonna go ahead and get you guys started with different things, and then I'll probably focus on Lady Spiritomb over here for a little bit as we get going, and then I'll sort of rotate and go through everybody. So real quick, who do people want focused on today? I'm pretty awesome, and I'm pretty great, but I can only do so much. DJ, Delilah Jane.
Yes. Hi. I would like to teach a dark move to my Mimikyu and then another dark move to my Rockruff.
Oh! Nice. Okay, if that's the case, then we'll go ahead and get them started out. Umbreon, you can take them. And you see the evolution sort of like stretches like a cat, and you hear as the entire little body pops. Like I mentioned before, this is an older Umbreon.
Older,
Like
yeah.
it has been around the block. This is Karin's starter.
I'm gonna ask. What's your Umbreon's name?
Umbreon, I just said it.
Very
Are
cool.
they a boy or a girl?
Ask and get bit.
Whoa! Do they like scritches?
No. Not from you. I'm sorry. Just from me.
Oh,
Scritch and get bit?
Scritching get bit.
you shut it, Seth. And DJ's gonna turn on her heel and
I
like
didn't say
march
that. I was
after the
thinking it
Umbreon.
really hard, and I think it's just the residual amplitude
Latent
power
psychic
of the
abilities.
tower.
He's
Yeah,
picking
but-
up on the
Yeah.
psychicness.
I'm getting ESP. I'm getting ESPN.
Guys, that's gonna be Seth's badge for
I'm
archetype.
really
is
good at
psychic.
sports.
He's gonna get psychic powers between now and then. Okay. And you
Got her.
see at this point, Umbreon sort of like shakes off, walks over to you, and like the edge of its tail turns and just does like a little flick on your shin, like the way that cats do, not in a way that like harms or anything.
Yeah.
Just to gather you and start to pull you towards the back of the dojo.
All right.
All right.
And
Up down the way. All right, and then the two of you. Now, of course, this doesn't have to be in like specific moves or anything. I want to know what are you wanting to get ready? Because you have a gym battle tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah.
That'll be your 4th.
Yeah.
You should train up whatever you're gonna fight with tomorrow.
Okay. Well, statistically, it's not going to be the people I'm fighting with tomorrow, but I will. Okay, I'll train with my boys, and I'll bring out the original trio. Bowie,
The original
Werther,
trio.
and Anchor.
Okay, yeah, 100%.
Ooh.
You pull all those 3. I mean, hey,
I
it's a
love
good
that
trio.
they're the boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's great.
everybody on my team is still the boys.
I was gonna
but,
say,
know,
you only have boys.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
don't know where
funny.
we got Axel from.
It's true. It's true.
Fender's more of a problem, but that's the later problem. So yeah, I think I don't know, Bowie, use Crunch on Richter and like I don't know, show off a dark move or something.
You see, boy looks at you, looks at Richter, looks at you, looks at Richter. At this point, I think Richter does not notice at this point in time as the thing
Zooted.
and you hear like the sound of like rock on rock, like for Bowie's fangs biting on a Gabite at this point.
Cool.
Uh,
yeah, no.
And he just kind of looks at you and Crocodile. And you see he's rubbing his other fang that he still has.
Cool. Good job. So over here, or where should we?
Well, she's gonna pull out another ball out of like a little small handbag that she has and pulls out a ball. And she goes, all right, Absol. And she throws out this like black Ultra Ball at this point. It releases this white quadrupedal Pokemon with like long, beautiful, silky hair that sort of like manes around it. And this ominous looking black horn that sort of razors around the side of its head. It has these piercing red eyes that even the most sturdy of trainers mentally would probably have a hard time in a staring contest with this Pokemon.
Bet.
And its little claws like on the wood beneath its feet. And it walks up to you silently and then sort of gestures with its horn for you to follow.
Okay. You know, I heard a story from my mom. Do you guys like predict omens and bad stuff from happening, or is that just kind of like a rumor as we walk away?
So it sort of like gives you like the like, I don't want to say Twilight vibes of the like burdened with a dark past sort of
Hang
like
on, spider monkey
affirmative.
type beat?
Yeah.
Cool. Word. Alright.
Okay. But you get pulled aside by Absol as Absol goes to train with you.
I do want to challenge her to a staring contest to see if I can.
Oh, we will roll for that, motherfucker. We will roll.
I'm doing pretty good actually on the staring contests with Pokemon. So,
Gavin, what did you want to train during this time?
I mean, I don't have any dark types or anything, but I'm gonna carry on with training Queenie, Bugle, and Team Bonk.
Okay. Giving your like team a once-over, Karin looks at it and goes, "Oh, Paldea?" Points at the Phalanx.
Well, that's where he's from. Well, they're from.
except for Mark,
That's not where I'm from. Sinnoh.
Where's Mark from?
Johto.
Why?
He was a transfer.
He was transferred.
Draft
Yeah,
season.
he got
for Team
he got
Bonkers.
stationed. Yeah, he got redeployed. It's his 5th tour.
That's so
I think you guys
Thank
broke
him for
Aaron
his
a little bit.
bad.
There's a whole like Reddit community for like trading out members of each other's Phalanx crews.
He posted on the board, "Hey guys, my 4th one is literate. It knows how to read and spell." And they're like, "I want that."
That's so funny.
Drink water.
It's like, hang on, wait a minute.
Oh, fuck, dude.
God.
Matt, leave
He's
this
the
in
only
the
one who
episode,
knows how to
first
read
of
spell,
all.
which is why he's the only one with a name.
Second of all, what the fuck was I saying before that happened?
You're asking about the.
You're asking
Paldea or
if yeah, something about Paldea.
Oh, Sinnoh, that's actually also pretty interesting. Okay, well, oh yeah, because the whole, yeah, no, you said those things yesterday, but
Your shitty dad, yeah.
yeah, I was honestly was more thinking about the accent was really where I was going with that. But if you want to bring up your dad in every
Okay.
situation, you can. That's fine.
No, but that's what
Seems
you
like
brought
your
up
primary
yesterday. So.
character motivation, you know.
Karen's reads are filthy. What the fuck?
Kenna, it's just Aaron.
It's just me.
He already knows.
I have all this information. I
That's
can give a
why he
character as
does
much
like
foreknowledge and wittiness as I
When the
want.
campaign started and we sent Aaron all of our backgrounds.
I appreciate that Ken is deep enough in the game, though. That makes me happy. Yeah, Karin sort of like takes in what your team looks like, and she's like, okay, fast fighter. All right, Weavile. And she throws out another ball, and you see this like couple foot tall, like dark purple, almost black, furred bipedal creature with these long razor sharp claws and this crown of like red like feathers coming out the top of its head. As Weavile, the dark ice type, in front of you. As opposed to all of the rest of Karen's Pokemon, Weavile pops out of the ball and goes, Weavile!
Oh.
Weavile! And just sort of like gestures for you to
Lead
come
the
with.
way, little man.
There is a moment where you don't watch anime, so this will be lost on you. For everybody else, it looks like Weavile just like flash steps further into the fucking dojo, like completely and totally like cannot track its speed with your eye level
Soul
movement.
Society? What the heck?
Just
That's crazy.
yeah. And then Weavile looks back and goes, Weavile! Like, hurry up. Let's go.
Cool.
You gotta
Yep.
be-
Okay. With the three of you out under the tutelage of other Pokemon, Karin is going to turn to Coryne. So, did you get the Pokemon?
Yeah.
That's a trick question. I can feel the malice coming off your belt right now.
Okay, great. So it's not just me.
No, it's not just you. I told you they have real, actual effects on you.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't had to do this in forever. Okay, might as well start with mine. And she's gonna pull out the keystone that she pulled out yesterday. And once again, you can feel just sort of like a deeply unsettling dark energy coming off of this, like, this sort of rough-hewn carved rock. And she holds it up and she looks at you and goes, so, I need you to not panic, but I'm gonna have you release it and then I'm gonna beat the shit out of it and then we're gonna start from there.
I feel like Coryne has that moment where her eyes go really wide, like what? And then she quickly remembers, need you not to panic, and Coryne just goes, lock it down. And I just go, okay.
As you go okay and look up, you see little purple wisps off your brain and just getting sucked into the keystone as your fear is being pulled on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Save some of that for your own. You're feeding my guy too much.
I don't even know how to direct. We'll get there. And Coryne takes the ball out, and again that shiver. When I mean, I guess I don't know. Coryne like stares at the ball and just looks at it and is like, I have no idea what's about to happen when I release this thing. Is everybody like far enough away? We're okay. I'm just gonna trust you, and I click the click the thing.
Okay, you click the thing, and the top of the Pokeball releases a beam of light that materializes on the ground, and you hear dunk as the keystone hits the ground. And there is a brief moment of just like nothing, where you kind of like catch your breath for a moment. And as the keystone is on the ground, it sort of like dunk tips over on its side, and then shoots right back up. And at that moment, there is an expansion wave that just sort of across the ground as a thin purple light just sort of carries itself across the floorboards. And in that moment, the rest of you, as you are just starting your training, you're just getting to that point where like you're sort of getting instruction from all of the dark type Pokemon that are teaching you, and you all feel like a sickly, heavy weight, just like ooh, into your gut, and it's almost impossible to not immediately look at the source as being Coryne's Spiritomb.
A sudden urge to listen to MCR.
Honestly,
The piano music's back. I say that because I'm going to be playing the piano music right now during the episode.
During that time, the keystone begins to like glow with like sickly black purple energy, and it sort of congeals and convalesces around the rock, beginning to twist and move almost like a malicious tornado begins to swirl around the rock. That lasts for about 0.5 seconds before there is a shadow and feeling of violence and just sort of evil energy that is so large and contains so much pressure that for a moment you feel yourself lose the ability to breathe as it appears. And Karin's Spiritomb makes an appearance. Almost twice the size, almost 3 times the sort of like solidity to its form. This swirling purple and green mass of energy simply expands into the space above you, into the sky above you, and envelops the entirety of your Spiritomb, and then retracts, and you see there's suddenly an absence of 2 Spiritombs in the room. Your keystone is still on the ground. Karin's keystone is still in her hand. The rest of you are kind of shell-shocked by the sudden lack of evil Pokemon in the room.
What?
She has fed people to that thing. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Hey,
What?
she came up during a war. You don't know what happened?
Where'd they go? What happened? Where's...
Oh, my Spiritomb has taken your Spiritomb inside of its keystone and is currently beating the shit out of it, like I said it would.
That can happen?
Anything can happen with ghost types.
Is it... Can I pick up my keys? Or it?
I wouldn't. It's kind of a... I just wouldn't touch it with bare skin. If you want to pick it up with a glove, even then I wouldn't risk it.
I'm listening to you.
Well, if you want to be the first of the next 108 souls in that keystone, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm
And she sort of like holds up the keystone, and Coryne, you can feel this sort of like clashing of energies inside of the keystone. But it is definitely one of those things where there is not an even fight going on. You can feel the energy of a beatdown from within the keystone itself. Okay, now come here real quick. This is gonna be a bit important. Once we start getting towards the end, okay, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put both hands on my keystone. It is safe to handle this one.
Okay.
You're gonna put both hands on this keystone, and you're going to try and imprint your energy so that ideally this thing will be a little bit scared of you. Okay?
I need to make it afraid of me?
No, I'm doing that part. You just need to make yourself present within the keystone.
Oh.
It's very metaphysical. Just put your hands on the keystone and focus into it.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Karin sort of like holds her keystone forward and gives you room to put your hands along the edge. And immediately you feel your entire body walk up in that moment. And it's hard to initially sort of like place that feeling. Can you give me an empathy roll, please?
Okay. As I'm making this empathy roll, I feel like Coryne's mind is really whirling with everything that's happening, with like the mention of, you know, you're trying to, it's like fear, you just need to be there and like make sure that it's a little bit afraid of you. But I feel like even though Coryne heard her say that she just needs to be present for that because she's doing all that work, in Corinne's mind, she's like, okay, we need to flip character a little bit, and we need to be not bad, but like match energy and more, if you get what I'm saying. So as Coryne is making this empathy roll, Coryne is thinking and manifesting in her mind every negative impulse she's ever had about rockets, about people that have hurt her friends, about people that have hurt her family. Every negative impulse that Coryne has ever wanted to do but has locked away, she just lets it go in her mind in all of these like imaginary scenarios of her doing evil shit in her imagination.
Sort of a mental fire extinguisher.
You say letting the intrusive thoughts win for once. Holy shit.
Okay. Now the question is, now this is a genuine thing that you guys have never had to deal with as a mechanic before. Let's see if Coryne succeeded, or if, unfortunately, Coryne succeeded too much. We'll see. Coryne, what was your total roll? This was a difficulty 10 roll.
Don't be a super
Oh,
go-getter.
I
Just be a
way
just a
over
regular.
What did you get?
A 23.
Okay.
Succeeded too much.
As your body locks up, initially you thought that feeling was a feeling of fear from touching two awful ghost dark type Pokemon. It was not. It is the feeling of a clenched, overwhelming sense of rage between these two spirits of rage that are fighting each other at this moment. I've used the word malicious a lot today. There is not a more accurate word for these two Pokemon. And as you sort of align your thoughts with like rockets, evil, people who have done bad things, there is this feeling. It's almost like the Dark Passenger in that moment where you feel behind you, almost like another form of you agreeing like, ah, yes, rage, evil. I want to take vengeance on these people. You see at that moment, the keystone is pulled away from your hands and Karin goes, ooh. I didn't think you had that much rage in you.
Go to therapy.
Sorry.
No, it's just what we were trying to do didn't really work. And you see Karen's holding the keystone and she goes, okay. Remember what I said about having Spiritomb out in its keystone all the time doing those things?
Yeah.
Ignore that. Don't do that. Keep the Spiritomb in its Pokeball. Use it when you can. You've now forged an emotional connection with this Pokemon. We didn't do the one that we wanted to do. I was hoping to help make it scared of you, but your rage that you felt just now created a release for your Pokemon. Kenna, instead of marking down a fear point with Spiritomb, please mark down 1 rage point with Spiritomb. You have now unlocked the secret way to control Spiritomb. It will now listen to you in battle and take orders from you as long as it retains at least 1 rage point.
When you say at least 1 rage point, does that mean it could gain more rage points and you want to keep it low?
That is now the way that Coryne and Kenna need to attempt to connect with this Pokemon, is to give it more rage points. Because it is
fear, personally.
It is through releasing her own malice into this Pokemon that she maintains an emotional and spiritual connection with it, and that it will listen to her. The moment that Kenna stops, or that Coryne stops feeling rage, this thing stops listening.
Oh no!
If there were ever a time if you felt like you couldn't do it,
cat.
this is probably the person to give it to if you need them to hold on to it for a bit.
Okay.
Coryne, the way that you are going to be able to earn more rage points with this Pokemon, and it is going to be hard, you're not going to earn them as often as everyone else earns friendship, is in moments of intense feeling or like rage or feelings of anger. When you have those dark passenger moments, please let me as the GM know, because that is the moment you will be awarded with similar rage points to this Pokemon. I know that you've had quite a bit of those over the last 2 arcs, so you might get rage points more than you and I are expecting, but it is the moment of when things trigger Coryne, please let me know. That is going to be when we get more points for this Pokemon.
Okay.
Next time we see Graham, he's gonna die.
Literally.
No! Oh no! This is gonna be. Coryne is in one of those spots where she's just like, oh hell, this is about to be. But Kenna as a player is like, this is gonna be so much fun.
Meanwhile, as
that makes me feel way less icky than the fear points, though. Personally, I don't like the idea of having to bully Spiritomb to get it to do what you want.
Unlike a lot of Pokemon, this thing does not. Its mind does not work the way others do, and unfortunately negative emotions are needed to connect with it. It is not able to feel positive emotions. But
at least it's where you're vibing with it on the same level instead of just like bullying it.
Yeah, just murderous intent and feeling levels of matching. Yeah, that's what you gotta do. That makes me feel better.
This is gonna be so healthy for Coryne. This is gonna be so great.
Okay. Okay.
But meanwhile, while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and cut over to the other 3 because I want to go each individually with each of you as you're beginning to train with Karen's Pokemon. I'll go ahead and go in the order that we assigned people with. So, DJ, at this point in time, it is Karen's Umbreon, Karen's Pokemon partner, not necessarily Karen's ace. Her strongest Pokemon has yet to make its appearance. But Karen's
stronger than
stronger than the fucking Spiritomb?
Yeah. There's her second Pokemon. She's been training harder and longer than any of them. But actually, for those of you who are from Kanto, if you want to make a human history roll.
Oh, I sure do.
It's not Darkrai, is it?
I said from Kanto.
Oh, Kanto. I thought you said Sinnoh. I'm dumb.
From Kanto. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Pretty heard.
Darkrai.
If there's anyone,
I did. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know why I heard Sinnoh. I'm dumb.
You said human.
Human history?
Human history. Yeah.
Human history.
Human history?
Human history.
Human history.
Y'all.
18.
18. Stuff.
11.
Both of you passed the difficulty. To remember that Karen's not innately strongest Pokemon, because obviously if we were just relying on innate strength, it would be Spiritomb. But Karen's strongest battler is her Houndoom. A Pokemon that is, of course, an alpha Pokemon. It is larger than it should be. It is a Pokemon that is heavier than it should be. It bites with more force than it should have. It is a naturally gifted Houndoom. If you remember the last time that you would have seen anything of her battling, because she does show battles every few years, that thing stands about 11 feet at the shoulder. It is a
Holy
massive
shit.
Pokemon because it has only gotten stronger over the last 20 years. It is
That's a demon.
It is a fucking demon brought to Earth. That thing can incinerate metal with a single breath.
Single-headed
That
Cerberus.
is about 3 times my size.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
That's the big bad wolf.
Yeah.
That's
Actually,
fucking
technically speaking, I believe its size
crazy.
category is massive because it would be over 20 feet. From nose to
Yeah.
tail. Yeah. It is a
Wrestling
massive
economics.
creature.
Holy
But you go to Karen's
shit.
house and Karen's like, "Oh, it's fine. My dog doesn't bite." It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they
he does.
Not only does
Yeah,
your
he
dog
does.
bite, it bites
Yeah.
more than a person. It
It's
goes,
gonna
"Oh."
bite my soul off. Yeah, for sure.
But as you're that's why it's okay for you to train with Umbreon. As you're training with Umbreon, can you run me through sort of, because Umbreon sort of pulls you aside and through a series of like light hisses and growls gets the point across of like, what is your goal with these two Pokemon? What are the 2 moves that you're wanting to
Sure.
train?
I am wanting to teach Cayenne Crunch,
Okay.
and I'm wanting to teach Mimikyu Dark Pulse.
Interesting. Okay. With both of those, it's going to rely, because neither of them are natively dark type Pokemon, which is one of the things that is sort of like holding them back from initially learning it.
Cayenne does already know a Dark type move, if
And
that's helpful for him.
That is going to be incredibly helpful actually for this
Okay.
role. One of the interesting things about this training is it doesn't initially start with battle training. You don't start with drills. One of the concepts that Umbreon sort of gets across to you in a very rudimentary way, both by communicating with your Pokemon and by communicating with you, is this idea that like something dark type energy is sort of like an absence of other energies, and while malice is attributed to it, really it's a feeling of emotionlessness. And it's very hard for Pokemon who do not already know or feel something dark to be able to jump into it without a lot of training. So one of the things that I'll like initially Umbreon starts with, Umbreon sort of like sits up on its like back haunches and sort of puts its front paws forward and stares intensely and deeply with its like, again, bright red eyes. Red eyes is a very common trope among dark type Pokemon, and stares deeply at the 3 of you and sort of like does a slow breath, but like clenches, and is basically running you through the opposite of a calming exercise, is running you guys through the idea of feeling your emotions. And then once you clench up, Umbreon lets out a single breath and becomes entirely emotionless and sort of removes all of them. Because while Spiritomb is a creature of malice and terribleness, that's its ghost type nature that's coming out. Dark type Pokemon is this absence of emotion, of an absence of mental energy. That's why they're immune to psychic types. So what I'm going to have you do is for each of your Pokemon, we're going to go ahead and have you roll an empathy check for both of them, like individually. For the one with, I believe it's Cayenne, is the one that already knows a dark type move, you said?
Yeah, Cayenne already knows Bite, which
Cayenne, you're gonna go ahead
arguably
and
is one
take
of
an-
his strongest moves.
That's true. Cayenne's going to go ahead and take an advantage to that roll.
Okay. Is that going to be... Remind me what empathy translates to.
I believe it's a charm roll for everyone else. Am I wrong on that one, or is that an intelligence roll? Empathy.
Is...
Empathy.
Sorry,
I think it's
am I
intelligence.
rolling...
Intelligence
You're
or
rolling.
charm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was rolling
Yeah.
like
I
a HP
No,
die
no.
or something for them.
Oh,
Okay.
I apologize. No,
Understood,
you're rolling for
understood.
each of your Pokemon because
For-
you're the trainer here. We're rolling using your stats.
Got it.
Because what this is we're rolling for your ability to sort of like influence your Pokemon's mindsets and emotions and assist them on this journey, right? So that's why we're
Okay.
rolling your stat for each of these 2 Pokemon. So go ahead and
Understood.
give me the first one. We'll go ahead and do Mimikyu first.
16.
16 is very, very good. One of the things with these sort of exercises, at least coming on with your Mimikyu, is this feeling of like... One of the things with Mimikyu, as a ghost type, it is a very emotional being. Ghost types are emotion. They are leftover emotion past death, right, for the most part. And there is a lot of like sputtering of like trying to sort of latch onto this. But you also then have to take into account that the other most emotional type of being is a fairy type. And Mimikyu is both.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work. After maybe an hour of working with Mimikyu and with Cayenne, Rikoto eventually is able to summon a small orb of dark type energy convalesced and concentrated in front of it. and over the span of another 45 minutes to an hour is able to take that orb and release it all at once, and you go. And once you have that feeling of being able to summon dark type energy and release it, that is the bounds for a dark pulse, and you can begin training that for the rest of the day. Mechanically, at the end of the day, you will be able to put dark pulse onto your training sheet. You have succeeded with Mimikyu.
Got it. Yay!
Let's now roll with Cayenne, please.
Okay. I did roll 2d20s at the same time and had already assigned them colors, just so
That's
you
totally
know
fine.
I already
I trust and believe you.
Cayenne was a 14.
14, and that was with your advantage?
Yeah, I rolled a 12 and a 10. Oh, no! Ooh.
Okay. Because you did have that extra D4.
Do I explode on my advantage?
You do explode on advantage.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 10 on the die plus 4
Mhm.
for my badges, which is 14, plus a 6 for my advantage, so a 20.
20 is very good. And because you have passed the second bounds of the training roll, when we assign EXP at the end of today's training day, you are going to earn twice as much EXP with this Pokemon.
Yay!
So not only is Cayenne able to immediately pick up the idea. I apologize. Are you learning Crunch?
Yes.
Crunch is just an expanded version of Bite. It's just a more powerful, stronger version. So instead of starting with nothing and focusing on summoning dark type energy for the first time like you do with Mimikyu, it's that point where as soon as Umbreon sort of like gets a vibe for where Cayenne is at, in terms of like ability with Bite, it is that thing where you're doing exercises with your Pokemon with Rikoto. Umbreon is doing full battle training with Cayenne at this point. It is moving slower than it needs to, right? Like it's obviously playing with your Pokemon because a rank 10 can just do that.
Right.
But it is this sort of like back and forth of Umbreon will bite forward towards Rikoto and then pull back. And it's almost like it's trying to go for like a mimicry training of like it's showing the bite and waiting for Cayenne to do it again as a full crunch.
Do it back. Yeah.
There's even a point where there are like small training implements because this is the dojo. Eventually Umbreon disappears for a moment and comes back with just like a series of like bundles of bamboo together, and they begin practicing on adding power and giving a crunch to that. And once Cayenne's able to break through like 4 or 5 sticks at once, that is a proper crunch meant to lower defense. And it is able to break through, and you will be successful with Cayenne.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell
All right.
to the fuck yeah. All right. With this, having focused on dark type tutorship with you, we now move on to Seth, I believe you're just focused on general training, right?
Yeah, just general training with my guys. I think you're gonna see a combination of Bowie shooting out water attacks at Anchor, who then absorbs them and then shoots that back as a different type of energy towards Richter, who then tries to either like chop at or throw rocks and other like dirt and debris at Bowie, and then that just kind of like trio is going in a circle doing that, or a triangle, I guess, using those moves. I'm curious if does the dojo, because you said they have like training implements, do they have particular items for like rental to try before I buy them?
I don't, but it depends on the item. I most likely not, but it depends. What are you trying to think of here?
I'm looking at a lagging tail.
I don't believe they would have access to a lagging tail at the moment. There's shops across the street that you could send somebody Karin does that thing where like while she's working with Coryne, if she sees that you're needing something, she'll like snap and the dojo door will open and like a trainee will come in. If you guys like when you need lunch or drinks or anything, Karin literally just snaps and then like 2 dojo trainees run in. They give her everything she needs and then leaves.
Pichu tries to snap too, but it doesn't work. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking either trying a lagging tail on him or wise glasses. The wise glasses would just add an extra wound, but the lagging tail would ensure that I go second, or last in this case, but second in a battle against another person. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I'll try it and see how that goes.
Okay.
And then for the others, they're just running around and such.
So one of the things that I will note is that like you were assigned this like tutorship Pokemon of Absol, but Absol is definitely the most reserved of the Pokemon that you've seen thus far in terms of it sort of like quietly observes and moves. And as you're beginning this battle training and just sort of like starting your drills, you'll see that Absol like shakes its head slowly and like studies and takes in how you guys are training. And I think, Seth, you're going to notice this. Your Pokemon wouldn't notice this because they're just doing their battle training. But every once in a while, you see like obviously a bit of flooring gets thrown up from like, Richter hitting something, or like a bit of rock gets summoned from Anchor tossing something around a corner to throw at one of the other Pokemon. Or like a puddle will be created from Bowie. In that moment, you'll see Absol just like pick up like a small rock with the edge of its horn, toss it in the air, and like smack it with the edge of its horn. And you'll see the rock just sort of like land in a puddle. And then 2 seconds later, Bowie's foot will land on the rock and slide and it'll fall over and dunk, 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 dunk. And you see that your Pokemon aren't noticing it, but Absol is very quietly and specifically making the training battle harder in these moments. And you'll notice in ways that feel like heavily supernatural. Can you give me a Poke knowledge roll, please?
Ew.
That's sick.
Sure.
Yeah.
You mean Pokélore?
Pokélore, please. Sorry. Yes. Thank you.
Pokélore.
Pokélore. Thank you, Birdie.
Pokélore.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I love you.
10.
10.
Wait, no. 15. My bad.
15. Thank God. Okay. So 10 wouldn't have got it. 15 gets it.
I forgot I could add stuff.
Yeah. One of the things that you will remember is that while Absol are widely known for having that same sort of ability that you've now felt for Spiritomb of that pressure, one of the things that you'll know is relatively recently people discovered that there was actually another ability that Absol were potentially able to have called Super Luck. And you are observing Super Luck happening in this moment, where it is a Pokemon that is just in game mechanically is just able to crit way more. But in this moment, you see Absol very subtly using luck to influence your Pokemon's battle and make it a little bit harder. Will you please roll for me? Pokemon handling or empathy, one or the other.
Yeah, no, I'll do handling.
Okay.
Let's do you want me to use intelligence or charm?
That's up to you. I'm letting you guys pick for these ones. For these ones, it is up to you. Play to your strengths.
Oh, that's not strong. Okay. So that's going to be 10 because I rolled a 1 plus 3 plus 6.
10. With that, when we get to the end of the training day, you're going to go ahead and get to select one of your 3 Pokemon that you train, and whoever you mechanically chose to train. One of your 3 Pokemon, because you mentioned that you may not mechanically be choosing all your battlers. But when we get to the end of the training day, one of your Pokemon will gain double XP from today.
Cool. Neat.
Okay. Do you have any other notes you wanted to add on your training, or am I moving on to the next person?
I think while Absol is doing those things, in between it's like random glances at the different items and things that it's throwing back into the training. Seth is just going to be like talking to it, because really with how Seth battles, he doesn't try to command his Pokemon. They just kind of do.
He sets them up before the battle to know what they're supposed to do, and then he's hands off when the battle itself happens. Yeah. But I think I look to Absol and just kind of ask. So when battling psychic type Pokemon, do they always know what you're gonna do, or is there like what's the best way to get like a leg up on them, or I guess paw up or horn or wing? I don't know. You have a lot of things. So you see, like, takes a moment to sort of think, and you see like it's having that initial experience of this Pokemon doesn't have a hard time with a lot of psychics because it is fully immune to the majority of things psychic can throw at it. But as it sort of like thinks about it, it's also one of those things where this Pokemon, and this is one of the things that like occurs to you as it's sort of thinking this through, is also immune to basically all psychic foresight as well. Pokemon looking into the future can't see dark types. That's just how it works. But it does. You see that there is enough experience in this Pokemon where it is thinking of things through your lens of how you should deal with it. And as like a chunk of wood goes across the ground, Absol's just gonna like gently drag it back over with its paw and start to like spin the edge of it with its paw, and you see the thing rotating. And the point that it's getting across to you is as it points in different directions, Absol mentions and shows that randomness is being thrown in. Dealing with psychics, adding randomness in possible futures is the way to go.
Oh. We can do that.
That is the go-to. Is be weird,
They
be
won't see me
random,
coming.
add possible
Cool.
futures.
Great. I'll
Mhm.
grab that stick and just kind of chuck it at Richter. That was supposed to land at your foot. He does it better.
Yo, bud.
Okay. You're doing good. Keep it up. Don't think.
Bite.
Don't think at
and
all.
just tears at Bowie.
Good.
Oh
Very
my
cool.
god.
All right.
All right. Fuck yeah. Okay, Birdie. With that, you have been being trained by Weavile, and I believe you said you had Ava, the Brass, and who else out?
No, I had Queenie, Bugle, and Team Rock.
Queenie Bugle. Okay. Okay. Queenie Bugle and Phalanx. So with those three out, and you're getting trained by Weavile, it is definitely the thing where the training method was going to be way more obvious to you the moment that you saw it fucking just disappear, right? That's what a flash step is. It's moving fast enough to where it looks like you're teleporting. It is the thing where this Pokemon is moving quickly enough to where it is not only engaging Queenie and Bugle at the same time, but it is also to keep up with all 6 members of Team Bonk at the same time. And this is a lot more straightforward battle training than what a lot the others are going. Like where Absol's influencing the training that sort of Seth's going on with, and DJ is doing a lot of like concentrative work and technique-based work, your Pokemon have always learned best through straight up battle, right? That is just how you and your Pokemon train. Is there anything that you want to say to influence this training session on like how it runs, what's Gavin's doing in this time, sort of thing?
I think he's going to take advantage of the speed of Weavile to like, basically like they're gonna go one at a time. Like they're gonna do some group fighting work because Weavile's strong, fast enough to dodge between all of them. But he's also gonna ask for like specific one-on-one for each of them, where Weavile's gonna try attacking on many different fronts. So they've got to stay mobile and be ready to like hairpin attack from different angles to adjust to the fact. So like with what Seth's just been on about with like the randomness, it's they've got to be able to react to an attack from any position that they might not be expecting.
Interesting.
So if we don't necessarily as a team, we don't necessarily run on randomness. Each Pokemon has a pretty solid like strategy.
Yeah.
If they can adapt to their opponent and keep their main strategy the same. But it's like with Kratos versus Heimdall. It's like it doesn't matter if you can see the future.
I'm still punching you in the mouth.
if there is only one outcome, and the outcome is you get clapped, that's your foresight doesn't help.
Okay. Go ahead and please roll me. That is just going to be a straight up handling roll, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of fucking sick.
That's kind of cool.
Like, it doesn't matter if you know about it. It's coming.
You just know before I do.
12 plus 6 is 18.
18. Okay. So you see this moment and you're sort of like tossing out the occasional, like looking at your Pokemon strategies and just giving the little pointers of like where they could help each other. And I feel like a lot of time that devolves to just saying individual Pokemon's name because they know what they need to do at that point in time. You're just triggering them to do the thing they need to do. And it's that thing where it's like, okay, this is 8 Pokemon versus 1. And the 8 are doing a pretty great job of working together. And you see Weavile dash from one side, dash to another, moving. Hits one part of Team Bonk. Knocks Queenie out of the air, moves back, Bugle slithers around, and it jumps around the side of Bugle. And there's a moment where then the rest of Team Bonk all jumps at once. And somewhere in the middle of all that, there is that like 2-frame moment. We see Weavile look through the crowd of Pokemon and at you, Gavin, at this moment, and it winks. And in that moment, you realize, oh, this Pokemon has not used a single move this entire fight. And you see a pulse of ice just flare out from this Pokemon, and all members of Team Bonk, Queenie, and Bugle all get thrown back at that point of time onto an icy section of floor and begin to skid away. And it just goes, Weavile, and holds up its 2 little claws like this.
What a little
That's
goober.
so cute.
What a little goober. Dude, I love Sneasel and Weavile. They're great. But with that, you can pick 2 Pokemon. They will have double EXP from this training session today.
That's sick.
The four of you.
It's only 2 members of Team Bonk, though, so choose carefully.
Yeah, it's only 2 members. It is only the Brass and Mark.
4 times.
Mark 4 times.
That's crazy.
Becomes the new Brass.
Oh my God, we should have tracking for which one's gonna become the new Brass. Like they have a hierarchy where one might get demoted and move. That'd be crazy.
Oh my God, that's dramatic.
That is dramatic. I feel like
top
the Brass
is just Mark.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Bro, talk about like a little mini soap opera going on in the background.
With the 4 of you beginning to train, it is that thing where Coryne, while the others are doing full-on training sessions, you had a pretty traumatic realization earlier of this Pokemon is like will listen to you as long as you're able to influence it with rage. After you, Matt, you want to share with the class what the fuck that was? Because you both just started giggling.
She's been giggling. I already said it. I said E2 Mark, and that killed her. That's it.
It's because I was drinking my tea!
I was gonna say, Torie's been trying to recover ever since.
Okay. Torie, you did a good job keeping it stifled because I didn't notice it till Matt started giggling.
I didn't want to. I was nervous to inhale because of what happened last time.
Oh.
With you, like, having learned all of these different things about your Spiritomb and having made this connection, Karin gives you back your keystone, or gives you back your Spiritomb into your keystone, and then says, okay, now it's safe for you to pick it up.
Okay.
And
okay.
There's a moment where you go, oh, is my soul going to get sucked? Okay, my soul's not going to get sucked.
Yeah. Literally, it's like, okay.
And you pick up your keystone, and this time, it is warm to the touch. Concerningly so. Like, that feeling of taking something like out of the oven and feeling it through the oven mitt towards like, oh, if there wasn't a mitt here, if there wasn't a keystone here, this would burn the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And that sort of like rush feeling, you know the feeling you get on your face when your heart beats a little too fast and you hyperventilate and it like gets a little numb along the edges of your cheek and your nose?
Yeah.
It's like that feeling, but running through your fingertips and your hand at the current moment, picking up the keystone. It is not a pleasant feeling. And then Karin sort of like looks at you looking at the stone and goes, okay, so I mean, with what we just did, it's pretty hurt, but it should be fine to train for today. It'll listen to you tomorrow. I have no doubt about that.
Okay. Do you think it's still gonna try to suck up my fear?
No, I think you've given it something that it likes more.
Oh. How much trouble am I in, Karin?
Not as much as you could be given the fact that you're fighting your own private war right now. After that, there will be things to figure out, but right now this is not the worst place to be in.
Okay then. I'm a little shell-shocked about this entire experience, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, that's what happens when you deal with incredibly mystical and powerful Pokemon. Is weird shit happens, and you picked an angry motherfucker, so he's gonna act angry.
Okay. And Corinne's gonna kind of, like, squeeze this keystone pretty hard. Like, just hard enough that, like, the edges of the stone are, like, biting into her hand. She's not bleeding or anything, but it's just really holding that thing.
Breaks.
And, like, she's kind of testing it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's gonna keep holding it, and she's gonna look at Karin and she's gonna say, is it okay if I call it out while I'm holding it, or should I put it down?
I mean, it's not gonna hurt you anymore, so you should be able to call it out from the keystone. I generally chuck the keystone just to give it a little bit more range. You'll notice it can't really move from where it's at on its own. But you should be able to hold the keystone just fine. The reason I said keep it in its ball when you're traveling now, though, is just like with the fear stuff, it's gonna stoke a little bit more out of you what it wants to eat. So if you keep it out, you're just gonna be an angrier person.
Oh, that's not fun.
No.
Okay.
As you say that, there is like a small little glimmer of purple green light that's pops out of the top of it. And you can see maybe a 3-inch version of Spiritom's little head pops out and is just giving you like the Jim Carrey Grinch stare as it like just looks extremely excited.
Oh no. That's fucking crazy. Okay.
And as it sort of sits there, you feel like wind begin to like move up, like an updraft around you, and you realize you're not imagining it. There is like this like foul sort of like evil breeze that is sort of like beginning to stoke negative emotions in you as you feel your Pokemon begin to use ominous wind in a way that is meant to like excite itself for battle.
I was gonna say, why don't you just describe it as an ominous wind, but then you're using ominous wind. It makes sense.
I was getting there.
We're
I was
getting
like,
there.
oh, this evil
Patience,
breeze.
patience.
It's called pacing. It's called pacing.
Straight up.
Sorry, I'm an angry person.
It's an evil fart.
Gross.
Ominous wind.
Corinne, that's funny. Like, we know it's coming. The psychic types know it's coming. Anyway.
Thanks.
The description calls it a repulsive wind.
Feeling that wind, that breeze coming, and seeing the little evil. If anybody, I feel like Corinne doesn't even recognize that she's doing it at first. And if anybody were looking at Corinne, it's very much like Kubrick stare, eyebrows down.
That's so fucked up.
The weirdest fucking smile you've ever seen on Corinne's face, right?
Garrett?
And then
This is normal.
And then I think
Karin
what
couldn't be bothered about
happens.
this.
I think what happens is in Corinne's mind, all of a sudden she sees Myrtle. And it's just a memory of Myrtle playing with the rest of her team and like a flash of that memory. And Corinne kind of like blinks and realizes what's happening. And she's looking at Spiritomb. She goes, hoo, we're going to work on this. And we're going to work on this right now. Okay. Corinne locks it down a little bit, but not all the way. It's like a pressure valve. Okay. You know what I mean? And she's letting it eke out just a little bit. Yeah, and Corinne is gonna go ahead and test Spiritomb on moves and direction, and isn't really gonna aim the moves at anything or anybody, but very much like just testing the ability at first.
Okay, give me an empathy roll, please.
Okay. I think that's gonna be a 12. Let me double check real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a 12.
Okay. So with a 12, it listens to pretty much mostly just the letter of what you say, but there is some intention behind, like, if you give it an order to do something, it knows where you're trying to point at. It presses at the boundaries a lot. It is only when you take the internal moment to like when you get frustrated at it not listening and it becomes easier to stoke that anger, that is the only point at which it works with you in those moments. It's only when there is a backing anger or frustration to you that it fully listens to you.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. That's working with rage is very different than working with friendship.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
And with that being the case, as all of you are sort of like wrapping up your training day, each of you getting through. Oh, also, Kenna, just like everyone else, with your rolls, you're going to get double EXP on Spiritomb today for training.
Great.
Nice.
But with that, does anyone have any notes they want to give me before we wrap up training with Karin? Because it is getting late in the day, and you have one other thing that you talked about wanting to do today.
I want to win that staring contest with Absol before we finish our training.
Yeah, we'll roll for that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's see. Anybody else got anything? Because if not, that'll take us through the credits. So, does anyone else have anything they want to do?
I think as we wrap up, because we saw the Umbreon earlier, right? Not just today for the first time.
No, yeah, that was yesterday as well. It ate with you guys at the ramen place.
Yes. So I think DJ, after seeing him at the ramen place, or seeing them at the ramen place, I think she would have gone home and made a little something.
What did you make for Umbreon? What the fuck did
not
you make?
For Umbreon. Not for
okay.
Umbreon. I'm gonna open my little bag and let Rakoto in, which now, by the way, DJ has a separate sack specifically for Rakoto that she crocheted it and then lined the inside with blackout fabric so that you can't see in or out.
Yep.
It is purely a changing room for Rocco.
Ultimate changing room.
Yeah.
So Rocco goes in. You hear kia 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 kia. You can see the bag rummaging around a bit, and then I think their signal would just be he sticks his little smoky tendril arm out like the drawstring flap and smacks the ground a bunch. Oh, you ready, bud? And then DJ is gonna tie a little black and yellow bandana around Rockruff's neck.
That's cute.
Same thing for Poblano, and then I think Tabasco and Aleppo need a break, so they're chilling. And then I'm gonna let Rakoto out of the bag, and he's gonna come out wearing a little Umbreon costume.
That's fucking great.
We just wanted to say thank you so much, Umbreon, for helping us train today.
It sort of like chuffs at you and goes, Umbreon.
And I'll offer them a berry, but I'll put it on the ground and then back away.
Yeah, they're gonna take it, right? Okay, fuck yeah, that's very cute, and you do so, and Umbreon.
Cool. Yeah.
And
does Karin react to that at all?
Fucking Karin thinks it's awesomely adorable because one of the things that Karin will explain to you guys over the course of the day is Karin is one of the biggest philosophers of like, what her like entry quote in the game is like, I'm Karin of the Elite Four. You're the player. How amusing. I love dark type Pokemon. I find their wild, tough image to be so appealing and they're so strong. Think you take them. She does that whole as like her entry thing and she talks about how much she loves dark types. And then when you beat her, she says, strong Pokemon, weak Pokemon, that's only the selfish perception of people. Truly skilled trainers should try and win with their favorites. And it's like, so Karin's a big fan of people using their favorite Pokemon in battle. And dark types are her favorite Pokemon. That's why she uses them.
That's sick.
Yeah. Okay. And then with all of that, we will wrap up today's session. Seth, you need to give me the most important fortitude roll you've made this entire campaign. And I will give
even more important than looking into Zapdos' eyes.
I will give you an advantage on this.
Yes!
Is it fortitude, you said?
It is fortitude, all right?
Okay.
You can add your handling points to this if you would like.
I would like.
Okay. Go for it.
I'm giving you a good juju.
You gotta beat an obscene number. Let's go.
Sick.
Oh my god, I thought you said 6.
Oh. 16.
Okay. So in this moment, you are sitting there staring, and it's become like all 3 of your Pokemon, and then the rest of your Pokemon pop out of your bag. All of you are in a circle as Absol has sit down and is staring at you, and the horn is sort of like wrapped around one side, and you're so. And then there's you sitting there who's been there just as long. What is you staring for? You've probably been staring for upwards of 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
Look at these tattoos.
What is this? What does this look like? Are you straining in any way? How cool as a cucumber are you? What's going on?
He is. He's not straining, I think, because I think he's tried to have staring contests with Bowie and learned that certain breeds of crocodile can fall asleep with an eye open.
Yep.
So if Bowie's facing away from me, he can have one eye open but still be asleep, and that not affect him. So I'm just there like, any minute now. And then I finally just fall asleep, and I'm like, well, it's a tie. But in reality, it was never a tie.
Okay.
So he's got a little bit of good. I'm not straining, but definitely I make sure Axel or Anchor kind of stays away just so he doesn't wick up any moisture from that.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like as you're showing all this technique, there's your Crocodile Bowie is sitting there like Mr. Miyagi going, yes, you've trained well, looking at you. At this point, Gavin, out of your training, you see all of the members of Team Bonk have like slowly started to like move away from you as they get pulled into this circle around these 2 staring creatures at each other. And at this point, like Coryne,
They start
DJ, your
thumping
Pokemon
their
also.
shields.
Everybody can start to encircle. Does anyone want to throw out any words of encouragement to Seth in any way?
Squint, don't blink. Squint, don't blink. But you can
I'm
squint.
doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Get him, Absol! No, I'm just kidding.
Someone
How long
do
has this
grab a
been going
Kenna.
on
You can
This
get
has
him.
been going on for upwards of 5 minutes. Coming
No,
up
that's
to
what
6
Gavin
minutes.
says.
Oh yeah. And you see, at this point, Bowie looks at you and goes, "Karakana," and holds up like the little 3-fingered hand. So then another 2 fingers off the other hand.
3 minutes, I get it.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
So,
of not
and you
blinking.
see a little bit of weakness. You see a waver though at that moment. Something you haven't seen any motion out of this Pokemon this far. A little bit
That's
of
all that.
motion. So,
I see it. What if you
And-
blinked right now?
I blinked. The Absol didn't.
No. I'm talking to the Absol.
Aaron's not good at this.
I'm blinking too. What are you
What if you
crazy? I'm not
blink
gonna
right
hold my eyes open for 5 minutes.
And
My
it
eyes
is
have
in
been open
this
for
moment.
5 minutes.
It is in this moment that
pause the
that a
video.
random small dust particle into your eye, and you are unfortunately involuntarily forced to blink in that.
That's not fair.
Ah.
That's not fair.
Restart,
You know
restart.
it, and you know it.
I need
Do
to
it
calm
again.
down. I'm gonna.
You see, you
No, I
guys.
don't.
See
Give me the Spiritomb, I'm angry.
the smile on Absol's face, and you see just the tip of the horn is glowing just a little bit with black energy. And you feel like there may have been some luck
Oh!
manipulation involved.
Cheater!
That's crazy. That's
I'm counting that as a win.
crazy.
That horn's against regulation, and you know it.
And with that, with everyone sort of
This
like
is a
either
regulated
cheering or
sport.
booing for who won that battle, that is where
Oh,
we're going
that's
to end today's
funny.
episode of Unbeatable. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye, friends.
Not so unbeatable.
Thank you for watching. This episode of Unbeatable has been brought to you by the members of our Patreon. Specifically, thank you Sonic Destroyer 12 for supporting us. Our patrons see our episodes early and get access to our Discord, where we interact with our community and gather questions for our monthly Q&As. See you next time, and stay unbeatable.
I am unbeatable. I'll train until I meet my goal. If stakes are high, no, I won't fold because I am unbeatable. Earning every badge, whatever it takes. I'm gonna be the best trainer. You just wait, and I know the road ahead looks like it won't be easy. I am unbeatable. Standing by my side, got my friends with me to explore a whole world of possibilities. But no matter what the challenge is, we can overcome it together. Because we are unbeatable, we'll train until we meet our goal. If stakes are high, no, we won't fold because we are unbeatable. We are unbeatable, we'll train until we meet our goal. If stakes are high, no, we won't fold because we are unbeatable.